Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your twin flame full read check-in. You could be a Sagittarius, your twin could be a Sagittarius. Either way, I'm grateful you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I tend to read for the divine feminine, with the other twin being the masculine, but take what resonates. You don't have to be a twin flame for this to resonate. If you feel it in your heart and soul and you're not trying to squeeze it in and figure out how it fits into your life, it's resonating. If it's helped you in any way, please like, share, comment, and or subscribe. If it doesn't resonate, check your moon sign, rising sign, or Venus sign, because that could be more of the energy that you're in today. It's not going to resonate with all Sagittarius, and that's completely okay. I do personal readings, and you can follow me on Instagram at Candi. The information is in the description box below, as well as any information on all the decks that I use here if you want to get a deck of your own. All right, so let's get right into this, Sagittarius. Okay. What is the current situation between the two of you? Yeah, good old patience, divine timing. Particularly with this card, because I see a divine being holding a clock. Okay, divine timing. So oftentimes divine timing, most people know what that means, know the frustration of it. You know, you feel like you've done your work, you feel like you've done all this stuff, and you're just waiting now for all of the other pieces to come into place. But here's the kicker sometimes, because I've been in this situation myself. I'm kind of like, you know, we think we've done all of our work and we're sitting in this space, this holding pattern, right? And then something comes up and we're like, oh, I thought I dealt with that, right? So we haven't done all of our work. And I feel like we're often put in this space of learning patience, because we don't want to have to go through these things with the other half of ourselves, or our counterpart, or soulmate, or twin, or whatever you want to refer to it as, because it'll be that much more intense, and often that much more destructive if you're not aware or awake, okay, or fully awake. And I do feel like a big part of separation is also connecting to other people going through the same thing. So a lot of you have met some people going through these things that have helped you in one way or another. Okay, there's a connecting, there's a oneness here. All right, so that's the current situation. You're sitting in divine timing, you know, being patient, waiting for things to unfold for you. All right, what's the challenge here? Let's take a look at the challenge. Yeah, we have financial constraints here, so there could be some financial issues. Often when this comes up, it's a 1-3, which is a 4 number, which is the number of the worker, the teacher. This often comes up as value. Okay, so there's challenges with how you value yourself, and because there's mirroring here, note that there's, on some level, your twin is struggling with their own value. Whatever happens with the feminine, okay, will manifest physically for the masculine, whatever's happening energetically. So if you're having feelings of unworthiness, okay, the masculine will act out in such a way, or they will be experiencing or having experiences detrimental to their self-worth. But this card, to me, whenever it comes out, especially, it's very strong right now. The fact that your vault is empty is an illusion, okay? What happens, I feel sometimes, is we put other people's currency in our vault, and it depreciates in value. So what we once thought we had, we no longer have, because our concept of whatever, you know, like, it's sort of like, you know, when you start realizing the beliefs of others no longer serve you, and they just don't carry the weight that they used to, right? So it's this concept, like, when you realize you've been putting other people's currency in your vault, in your bank vault, and it's been depreciating, you start putting your own currency in your vault and seeing how it actually grows and compounds over time versus depreciating value. It's sort of like sinking all of your money in depreciating assets instead of ones that grow money for you, but using it in a way as a metaphor versus You know, this isn't as much about money as it is about self-worth. And what's really important is that we understand that our relationship with money and our self-worth go hand in hand. Okay, our abundance can only flow in as much as we're worthy of it. All right, let's take a look at some hidden factors. What's a hidden factor here? Yeah, the Magician in the Mirror. Very interesting. Okay, so for some of you, it's important to remember that there's a couple messages coming in here, okay? You might have done a lot of work around your self-value or your self-worth, right? And you're still feeling doubt, you're still feeling unworthy, but know that you may be mirroring your twins' experiences, okay? So I feel like a huge guidance piece for you today, Sagittarius, or whoever's watching for Sagittarius, to start really taking account of what belongs to you and what doesn't when it comes to the emotions that you're picking up on, because I feel like there's a huge impact from your twin right now for you. I mean, there's a huge impact right now with all the planetary stuff going on, but what I'm also being guided to tell you is that you are leading this parade. If you're in the lead here because you're the one that's awake. And when you start to shift your own stuff and take responsibility for your own experiences and emotions in regards to those experiences, you will shift everything. And you're going to be okay no matter what's happening with divine timing. Okay, that's really, really key here. Okay. So let's go ahead and see where you're at right now, Sagittarius. So what is, and I say Sagittarius, but like I said, anyone who's watching this, let's see what's going on with you in the present. Very interesting. I'll take the top one. Yeah, Judgment. Okay. So the Judgment card is really interesting. I don't know why it's not. Can we get some? Usually it's pretty good at focusing. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. This concept that we are beyond our physical selves. But I'm being guided to read from the book for you. So we're going to do that with this Judgment card. This is from the Light Seers Tarot. Self-realization and understanding, spiritual awakening, redemption, knowing your motives and your heart to be true, total transparency, a glorious unveiling spirit. Hello, Essence. I invite you to show up every day. I invite my soul to shine unapologetically. You have judged others and have been judged, and you are awakening to the understanding that the only approval that really matters is your own. Are you doing your best with others and with yourself? It's time to shed any negative facades, dropping the masks behind the masks. It may feel risky, yet this profound act of self-acceptance will unleash your absolute essence. You are light, shadow, matter, and consciousness, and you are a miracle. Why then do you keep your true nature hidden away from the world? There is no way to really understand your full potential until you are open and honest with your heart, without judgment. To expand and evolve requires this colossal forgiveness of the self. Forgive your beautiful soul. Accept your beautiful heart. As you do, you consciously answer the call of your higher self. And this vastness of the horizon will make itself available to you. Okay? All right, so I feel like there's definitely an energy of you being hard on yourself. And it's time to kind of release that for yourself if you can. Forgiveness is huge. Every single one of my clients on some level, I talk to them about Ho'oponopono. You look that up. It's a Hawaiian forgiveness prayer, but the power behind it is unreal. And I feel like your inability to love yourself is this whole other, someone else's currency in your vault. Like you're living by these rules, like, well, you did this and this and this, so you're unworthy of this, this, and this. But that's not how life works. That is not how the energy works. That is not a belief that is going to be sustained in this new world. So I feel like there's going to be some really digging deep into what you believe to be true. Well, I don't know why this is coming forth, but it needs to be said. The concept that you have to slave away in order to make even an inch towards your dreams a reality is bullshit. That is not what we were put here for. We were here to experience life, but we don't need to slave away over that anymore. That is a belief that depreciates over time, and it doesn't actually speak to the value of your soul. Okay. All right. Let's get a couple more cards here and see what's going on with this judgment with you, Sagittarius. Yeah. It's interesting. We have this very so we have the King of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the Star. But what I find interesting is on this side, we have a very heavy, grounded energy. And that's why I feel like I talk, like the King of Pentacles has a lot of abundance, delayed gratification, the daily grind, hard worker. What I think is interesting, though, and this is Aries, Taurus energy, but he can be too much about that, and that's kind of why I feel like I mentioned that just before I started shuffling, was about this whole need to do so much hard work with such little pay in return, such little exchange in return. There's got to be a shift when it comes to that for you. I think it's interesting that on the other side of the Two of Wands, we have the Star, which to me is a very light, joyous, happy, fated belief energy. Like it's almost in opposition. Okay. And here we have this Two of Wands teetering between the two. Like there's part of you that wants to believe that anything is possible. And there's another part of you that is so hardwired that's convinced you that you have to do things and be a certain way in order for these things to even be possible. And it struggles with it. There's definitely an inner conflict here between those two energies. And I feel that it's causing a little bit of you feeling discombobulated, if you will, during this time. And just know that if that's happening for you, it's probably happening for your twin as well. You probably share a lot of the same core values. But the struggle is, is that, are those core values still serving you in this life? And you can honor the fact that it served you up until this point, or, at least in the recent past, and respect it without carrying it forward. I remember someone told me once, she was a coach, and she told me, she's like, unless you're working, 80, whatever, I think she said, like, unless you're up, it was something like 12 hours, unless you're working like 12 to 18 hours a day towards your dreams won't come true. And this was like very recent. And it just felt so wrong to me physically. Because I've had experiences where when I'm aligned with my true self and I'm aligned with my energy of what I'm meant to be doing and helping people, things flow and they fall naturally into my lap. So I feel like you just have to figure out what your thing is, figure out where you feel right, where it aligns with your true soul self, not your human self, because your human self has been conditioned. There is a balance between the two. The interesting thing is I don't mind working hard towards the things that feel good. So maybe allow that to guide you. But let's take a look at, let's get a card or so representing your twin right now. Okay. All right. So we have the Devil here. Okay. The Devil is represented by Capricorn. So they could have strong Capricorn in their chart. They could have It could be their sun, moon, rising. They could have multiple signs in Capricorn. So there's attachment here, though, and there's codependency, which is often what happens to us with the beliefs that we, because here's the thing, and I'm going to keep going back to this. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, so just stick with me. The beliefs that so what happens is we have this experience when we're young, and our parents doing the best they can with what they have, even though they have their own wounds, do their best to filter whatever this is and create a belief in us. It's something they believe that they was passed down to them, so we take it on. And then everything, because as children we don't have a prefrontal cortex, we don't have a filter, we just absorb everything as truth. Everything from then on echoes that. So it solidifies these beliefs in us that we have to do things a certain way in order to have X, Y, Z, or whatever it is, right? And I feel like with everything breaking down so much right now energetically, those beliefs have to be revisited because they no longer serve the energy of this planet and the energy in your life. So the thing is there's a codependency on them because the only experiences we've ever had are these specific experiences where they have proven to be tried, tested, and true. But they're exhausting now. Why is that? We need to go into that, okay? So let's get some more cards representing your twin right now. Yeah, so we have the Chariot, okay? So we have choice, but we have very forceful, determined energy. We have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is sort of like this coming forward in emotional conversation, perhaps coming forward to speak of their emotions. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, okay, which also represents Capricorn. It represents January 11th to January 20th, the third decanate. But we have two, this is, the interesting thing is what I'm getting from this, because we have a lot of emotional energy here. It's the same beliefs that keep everything so rigid, okay, that are blocking the flow of emotion and energy. There's a need to hang on to these old things because they've always brought comfort, but they're no longer bringing comfort. So it's this concept that things need to shift and change, but you're aware of that. I feel like this person wants to come forward and say something, but again, it's those old beliefs around unworthiness that is preventing that from happening. And perhaps they're just feeling unworthy that they want to come forward and say something because those beliefs are like, well, you were this, and this, you shouldn't do that. You have no right to do that because you aren't worthy of, it's almost like, it's sort of this concept like someone feeling like if they won the lottery, they'd be a hero and they could save everyone's lives financially. But it's not going to actually solve anything. There's something deeper here, Sagittarius, that needs to be addressed. And the energy right now is very flip-floppy for me. Because you're mirroring each other so much. Like, I know I'm doing divine feminine, divine masculine, but it's very interesting how deeply this belief is affecting both of you. All right, so let's get a look at what's on your mind right now, Sagittarius. Okay. Oh, I love that. This is actually, this is in the book. It actually talks about twin flames with this card. It's the Two of Cups, okay? Two people coming together to become one, but being whole and equal in themselves and having an equal seat at the table. I don't know why they're not focusing. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. So it's absolutely on your mind. You want connectedness. You want this physical connection. You want that relationship. Again, though, this belief, whatever this struggle is that needs to be torn down and rebuilt in your image now, is having you, is preventing you from having that. Yeah, I thrive in partnerships and my heart leaps with joy when I connect. This is interesting. This perfect pairing of matched souls has the potential to develop into the magical, intoxicating entanglement of twin flames, or the merging of paths that will be forever united or changed as a result. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to just bring this up briefly because I do feel like the focus needs to be on this structure around worth and feeling like you have to be working so hard to earn that worth, okay? But I am being brought back to mention that there's this fear. There's a fear of the intensity of the connection here. You're afraid of the inability to sustain the intensity of the connection. What happens when the passion's over? What happens, blah, blah, blah. All of those things that don't exist that our protective ego is coming forward with. I just want to make mention of that because you need to be aware of it to deal with it at a later time. All right, let's get some clarification on your mind here. Dang. That's all I got to say here, Sagittarius. Holy Hannah. Yep. So the first card that came up was the Four of Swords. And if for those of you who have watched me before, you know that this card represents, to me, the death of the old self. Okay? Because your old self is no longer serving you. She or he did a great job. There's no gender here. They did a great job of serving you up until this point, but it's time to let her go. And it's time to let her, or him, again, just it's the feminine energy, rise from the ashes as something new, okay? Because we have here on the other side of that, the Page of Pentacles, and being able to trust and see and believe in the magic that surrounds us every day. And then we have the Chariot and the Lovers. So what I got specifically from this message, Sagittarius, is once you've put to rest your old beliefs and start creating your new ones, it is a full, like we have the Chariot both here, moving, forceful, determined energy, fated, almost have no control because you're not supposed to, towards what's meant for you. And I know I don't usually get very specific messages like this, but I am telling you that when you can do this, and you then open up your heart to seeing the magic and the truth in the energy and your soul, that there is nothing stopping the two of you from being together. But it takes a major overhaul of everything you've ever known. And if this is truly what's on your mind and what you want, there's no one that can stop you but you. Okay. All right, what is on your twin's mind right now? I feel like I'm just kind of reading both your minds because it's... Anyway, I'm going to do that. Sorry, I'm going to do this again because it's... There was like 5 of them that came out. Fear. Okay. Instantly. 9 of Swords. There's fear energy here. I do feel like this is, it doesn't... I don't know. I'm tripping out right now because I don't feel necessarily that this is feminine. This is the feminine for sure, but some of you watching aren't Sagittarius. They're just kind of freaking me out. It's just I'm just feeling that coming in, like some of you aren't Sagittarius, but maybe your twin is Sagittarius. And anyways, this message is still for you is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get some clarification on what's on their mind here. Yeah. So we have the 5 of Wands, which is interesting because this one came out with 4 cards and this one now has 4 cards. Anyway, we have some inner conflict here and some competition. Oh, never mind. I said 6 cards. Never mind. Not 5. I see 6. Okay. As we know, this is kind of where fear comes from. Fear comes from this place of inner conflict. Like it creates inner conflict. We have the Justice card here, which tells me that there's some karma that needs to be dealt with. And part of your belief systems is karma. Okay. Oftentimes I've read numerology for people and we're given certain traits and what have you to overcome karma from a past life. But here's the thing, guys. You know, you've done all this work your entire life. Why is it not possible that you have balanced that karma by now? It's kind of time to tap into that, okay? And then we have the Three of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles, okay? So this, in order to become victorious and overcome what you fear, which is heartache, betrayal, loss, okay, there needs to be some refinement over what that really means. What are you really losing when you revisit those beliefs? You know, you will always be you. You will always have memories. You will always have your past. But it's time to honor that and release it. It's just as exhausted as you are, is what I heard. Very interesting. But all of these fears and all of these things are unnecessary. Okay? Because there's nothing to really be afraid of here. All right, what is in your heart? I heard confusion right now. Yeah. Legacy and long-term commitments. We have the Ten of Pentacles here. Okay. What does the soul have to say? Yeah. So we have the King of Wands. Okay. So this is all about knowing what you want and knowing how to go about and getting it. Here's the interesting thing, though. We have the Death card, we have the Five of Wands, and we have the Tower. Okay. So what I find really interesting about these three together is, again, Tower is tearing down so that you can rebuild. Okay. Death is complete transformation, knowing that certain things have to end in order for others to begin. The Five of Wands, interestingly enough, is normally about inner conflict, but I love in this depiction where all the wands coming together to move forward in the same direction. You have to get all of your stuff on the same wavelength, on the same page, okay? And that's going to take transformation. But here's the thing, it's not going to be transformed for you. You have to choose to make that transformation yourself. Okay. So it's time to get serious about that. Okay. What is in your twin's heart? Well, that was, yeah. So we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is walking away from what no longer serves, walking beyond into what does. Okay. So we have here, the first one that came out was the Page of Swords, being honest and insightful. Then we have the Two of Pentacles, which is about making decisions in the physical. Change is inevitable, it's coming. And then we have the Temperance card. So finding balance in that, still loving and caring for yourself, still healing, okay? The choice has to be made to heal. You have to be honest with yourself about that, and so do they. There's a lot of mirroring here. I'm really surprised that the Tower, the Ten of Pentacles was on the bottom. I'm surprised the Tower didn't actually come out, because it's going to be towering for both of you to restructure your beliefs, because they are no longer serving you right now. Even the ones that have served you and have been tried, tested, and true, it's time to relieve them of their burden, because it's time to create new beliefs, to create magic in your life. Because we have to have one foot in the physical and one foot in the ethereal from here on out. All right. So we're going to take a look at some blockages, or a blockage, if you will. Yeah. So we have All Tied Up and the Door to Personal Healing and Happiness. Okay. There is a part of you that struggles with this personal healing and happiness, because for all intents and purposes, you're doing exactly what you're being told to do, but you're not really feeling the results. And that's because you're still living in the belief that you have to do specific things to get certain results. Okay. I don't know if the number 2334 is important, but that kind of came up right now. There's also a lot of threes. Threes are important. But you're really tied up yourself. You're tying yourself up with these beliefs, with this, with these concepts. I feel like I don't really need a whole half-hour video continually repeating myself, but that's solely what that keeps what's coming through. Okay. I'm gonna see how you're seeing your twin right now. How are you seeing your twin right now? I love that. Beauty, grace, loveliness, integrity of form and spirit. Okay. They see you as a very beautiful person. You see them as a very beautiful person, I should say. Sorry, because this is you to them. I feel like it's both. You're both very true to your word. Your moral compass is true north. There's like this grace and ease to you that they see. That just comes very natural. And it's very calming for them. Okay. So how do they view you? Yeah, the return of Aphrodite. Birth of the goddess, guidance, goddess energy, treating as sacred and a temple. So there is something about you that's ancient, is what I heard. There's something about you, or something about them, sorry, because this is how they're viewing you. Yeah, okay, sorry. Wow, this is like, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's almost like the feminine's here and then she moves here and then she moves, or the mat, like they're so intertwined right now. Like, I am 100% sure you can feel them solid right now. Like, you can totally feel them. Oh, because you guys are so connected right now. Anyways, they're viewing you as sacred. They're viewing you as, there's a playfulness to you as well, like a twinkle in your eye is what I heard. Very interesting though. This was so all over the I'm sorry, Sagittarius. I hope it's helping you and I hope it's resonating regardless. But you guys are so entwined right now that it's actually hard to separate the the masculine and feminine energy, which I guess is kind of where we want to go. Anyway, so let's look at hopes and intentions for you guys right now. Yeah. We have attachment here. Okay, so in a hopes and intentions space, we have the release of the attachment, the codependencies that are keeping you stuck in this holding pattern and waiting very patiently for divine timing to do its thing. But here's the thing, we guide divine timing. We really truly do. We just have to be open to what's actually holding us back and being able to act on those things. All right, that's fast. 8 of Ariel. Take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training, okay? So you've come a long way, Sagittarius. You've been doing a lot of work. Maybe it's time to take your evolvement to the next level, and maybe it's time to actually consider getting education on that or learning more about it, and helping and really training, if you will, because you're really apprenticing at life now. You're going to be breaking down all those old things and apprenticing this new concept of reality. And what does that look like for you? So I hope that this has helped. Please like, share, comment, and or subscribe. Be your peace, love yourself, share your light, and have an amazing day.